I'm going to show you 3 easy steps on how to start an Airbnb business. If you want to learn about how to start a successful Airbnb business and what mistakes to avoid, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to turn on your notifications. Hey everyone, my name is Jorge Contreras and I started my Airbnb business back in 2017 and I have made so many mistakes. And if I were to start all over again today, here's exactly how I would get started. When did you first learn about starting an Airbnb business? Because I want to know. Please let me know in the comments down below. Well, you're doing the smart thing by watching this video. So make sure you give yourself some love and hit that like button. And let's get you going on starting this new adventure the right way. There are 3 ways that you can start an Airbnb business. You can buy properties, you can rent properties, this is the most popular, and you can manage other people's Airbnbs. In this video, I'm going to deep dive and break down the subleasing, also known as the arbitrage model. First of all, what is Airbnb subleasing? Well, it is the process where you rent a property from an owner and then you launch it as a short-term rental. It is important that you get permission in writing. And yes, this is 100% legal. And let me actually clarify that. A lot of people say, hey, Airbnb subleasing is illegal. So let's figure out whether it's legal once and for all. In all lease agreements, when you are supposed to live in the property, it is going to say no subleasing allowed. However, when you speak to the property owners and talk to them about your business model of short-term rentals, you can actually get permission in writing and change the terminology. So this way you are running your business with full transparency, making it completely legal. Now, why would we want to start a business doing Airbnb with the subleasing model rather than buying properties? Well, when you do the subleasing model, you don't need to buy the property, which means no large down payments and no closing costs. This allows you to accomplish more with less. Because with what you would buy one property, you can likely sublease 3 or 4 properties and then have 3 to 4 times the cash flow than just with one that you actually own. Now, yes, of course, in the long term, the goal, in my experience, should be to own as much real estate. But since most people are not in a position to buy real estate, Airbnb subleasing allows you to accelerate your cash flow, and it is the fastest way to replace your 9-to-5 so that you can create financial freedom. So let's break down exactly how it works. Imagine you wanted to rent a property for $2,000 a month and you put it on a 12-month lease after speaking to the property owner. And let's say that once you launch it, you're able to charge $250 a night because maybe you're hosting 6, 7, 8 people. And if all you did was get 20 nights booked at $250, that is $5,000. So you are paying $2,000 of rent. You've generated $5,000 of gross revenue, and after paying your rent, utilities, and cleaning, let's say you were left with a cash flow with a monthly profit of $2,000. That's $24,000 a year from one Airbnb. Now, for most people, having 2 to 3 Airbnb subleases can replace their 9-to-5 income where they're making $50 to $75K a year. So hopefully this breakdown helps you understand why subleasing is such a powerful business model. So here are 3 requirements that you're going to need to fulfill in order to start your Airbnb subleasing business. The landlord is going to want you to complete an application. Number 2, I highly recommend that you provide them with bank statements so they can see that you have the first month and the deposit. And number 3, they're gonna want a copy of your credit report. Now here's a simple hack on how to avoid having multiple hard inquiries on your credit report. Let's say you're going and looking at 3 properties over a weekend. Well, you don't want the landlords from these 3 properties to all run your credit, and now you're gonna have 3 hard inquiries. The way we avoid that is we actually bring a copy of our credit report, which you can get at freecreditreport.com. This way, you actually bring a copy and they can see what your credit is. And if they decide that they want to work with you, only then should you allow them to actually run your credit. Now, 2 things that you want to make sure that you include in the lease agreement. Number 1, it should state your name. So in my example, Jorge Contreras has permission to use this property as a short-term rental. The second thing is Jorge Contreras has permission to change the locks. Why? Because we want to set up a keyless entry, and typically when you are renting a property, the landlords want to have a copy of the key so they can access it every 6 to 12 months just to do an inspection and make sure the property's being taken care of. But in this case, we're not living there. We got permission to run our business, and we're gonna use a keyless entry to automate the entrance and exit of each guest. So make sure you get that in writing as well. You also may be wondering the length of the lease agreement. I recommend, and what I've done over the last years, is a 12-month lease agreement with the option to renew. This way, after 12 months, when the property owner hopefully sees that you actually did a great job, you respected their property, you created a great relationship with the neighborhood, the owner always got paid on time, they will likely want to renew the lease agreement. And this is great because you don't have to start from scratch, and you don't want to start from scratch. You want to be able to renew that lease agreement and continue to operate that same rental for many years to come. Now, there's a lot of softwares out there, which I will talk about in other videos, but for this video, I want to talk about 3 things that will help you determine if an area is hot or not. That actually sounds like a cool little game, right? Like hot or not. But anyways, typically here's what I look for. If I can find a property near a downtown where typically they have a convention center where there's year-round concerts, events, conferences, or weddings, all those types of events will bring business year-round. So being in a downtown or next to a downtown is typically a good idea almost anywhere. The second thing that I look for is theme parks. Imagine if you had a property next to Disney World in Florida, or Disneyland, or any popular theme park that attracts tourism year-round. The third thing that I look for is having properties near the beach. A lot of people that travel, or even the locals, want to have a great experience near the beach. And typically, I've always been able to create awesome cash flow producing Airbnbs when they're next to the water. By the way, if you're liking this content, make sure you hit that like button so we can help you create success with Airbnb. Now let's talk about what type of property to select, because you can start with a studio, a apartment. It could be a 1, 2, 3, 4 bedroom apartment. You can start with a house, a condo, a townhome, an RV, an Airstream, a glamping setup, or even a tree house. But for this particular strategy, I want to compare an apartment to a house. So let's get started. Typically, apartments that do extremely well are when they are in downtown or right next or on the beach. Of course, proximity is power, and people love it when they don't have to drive to their destination. So say the people who are staying at your Airbnb are coming in for a conference, and imagine if that conference is within 1 or 2 blocks because you are in the prime location. Typically, that's why a lot of people pick an apartment, because it's right next to whatever they're going for in that area. And typically they are also lower in cost than renting an entire house. Now let's talk about a house. Often houses attract larger groups of people. It could be a 3-bedroom, a 4-bedroom, or a 5-bedroom house that could maybe host anywhere from 6 to 12 people. And typically I love hosting in houses because we can have a better return on investment by hosting larger groups of people, providing them with a better experience at a fraction of the cost. So for example, let's say they're going to a concert, and to stay at a hotel for, let's say, 10 people, maybe they need 4 or 5 rooms. And let's say it's 5 rooms at $200 a night. That's over $1,000 a night. Not only that, they're going to be separated from each other. Compared to having all 10 people in a 5-bedroom house, maybe they would pay half price, only $500 a night, and having a way better experience without being separated. Now, what if you have a pool, a spa, and a game room? Again, helping people create a better experience at a fraction of the cost. Now, one of the cons of starting with a house is, of course, it's going to cost more than the apartment. And one of my philosophies is do what you can with what you have where you are. So if your finances allow you to start with an apartment, perfect. Get that experience, get that cash flow, reinvest that cash flow, then go and get into the houses and grow and diversify your portfolio. Now, if based on the data or the locations or the demand, you see that houses will give you a better return on investment and you have the capital, then go ahead and start with a house. So let's do a quick summary. We talked about why subleasing is such a powerful strategy, 3 tips to validate if an area is hot or not, and the pros and cons of apartments and houses. Now, this is only the beginning, and running an Airbnb business can be a lot of work when you don't have the prior experience. So to help accelerate your results, click on the link down below. I'd like to gift you my free Airbnb ebook. If you want to learn more about Airbnb subleasing, check out this video right here. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see how I validate areas to see if they're hot or not to run an Airbnb business.